Good afternoon, John Casey with you. I trust you're enjoying your day on 7 Sport and more particularly our AFL Finals coverage. At 5 o'clock we'll be taking you to Subiaco for our second match, the elimination final between the West Coast Eagles and Hawthorn. But first, over the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking a look at the Crows in '92, their best performances and some they wouldn't be too proud of. If not the biggest, then certainly the hottest story involving the Crows happened well before the season started on Saturday night, January 18. Here at Channel, we were invited to attend the Crows training camp, and what we got was more than we expected.
But first, red faces at the Adelaide Crows Football Club tonight after its ultimate test of guts and determination backfired. In what will go down as the most bizarre pre-season training ritual in Australian sport, the 40-man squad was primed to walk over hot coals.
Adelaide Football Club officials described it as a gamble that didn't pay off. Motivation guru Paul Blackburn from Canberra, his specialty, firewalking. Ironically, Nigel Smart came up with the idea 6 months ago after to the After a 3.5-hour motivation session with motivator Paul Blackburn, we were told that walking on these coals would be as safe as houses. The first player up was Nigel Smart, but things didn't go according to plan. 10 steps, 9 metres, burning coals generating 600 degrees Celsius. Volunteers weren't called for. Nigel Smart was pumped up and raring to go. Rushed back to the Crows' camp, Smart wasn't looking comfortable. Serious burns to his feet.
Well, I'm not really worried that I got through okay. It's just a couple of little burns on the way, so it's no big deal.
Officials later admitted they had made a mistake.
I was confident that it was possible and I would have had a go, but I just couldn't allow it to proceed when there was any element that a player might be further injured.
Those that make the decisions make them in good faith, and the research was done and in the belief that the positive aspect of that was going to be something sensational. Now, it hasn't happened.
Motivator Paul Blackburn wasn't having second thoughts, claiming very few people have been injured under his guidance. One thing's for certain, he won't be invited back in the near future.
Well, Nigel Smart may have been out of action for a few matches, but it didn't stop the Crows opening the season in a blaze of glory. In their first 2 Foster's Cup matches, they blitzed Carlton and Footscray before being eliminated by Fitzroy. But after their good win over the Bulldogs in the pre-season competition, they crashed in the first minor round. In fact, they won only 3 of their first 7 matches, but still provided us with some great highlights.
Gets a handball away. Herman tried to go off the ground. McGuinness. The handball to Brown was from Smith to Pays. McDermott. Klug, who was one of the success stories last year, to centre half forward. Hodges the target.
And he comes in front. The mark is held by Ingerson.
By Herman. Arsiri keeps his footage well tackled though by Bickley. This is where Adelaide had a lot of attack springboard from last year to Rowe. He just had to stop and wait for a moment. Bangs it towards Hodges, gives him a chance, and he takes a beauty.
Klug did well, stood his ground, cut like a cork in the ocean. McGuinness bobbed to his feet, gets it across to Maynard. Runners everywhere now. Brown to McGuinness, measures the kick, 40 metres out. This will bring the house down.
Klug, another one there. Yes, sir. Jamison with a fly, and takes a very good mark.
He does to Kellett. Kellett's hand pass, blocked by Maynard. Immediately
Modra!
Hodges is coming in late. No one able to take it. McGuinness comes off his hands. That could be a goal. Winders there on his own.
Play on,
Toward their centre-half forward position, or that could be 50. Takes the kick and kicks to half-forward.
Oh, there's a great mark.
Lip-tack. Snapshot for goal by Bone. That's not a bad shot, but effort from the youngster, and he's got it.
Obston Brown in the foreground having a bit of a dust-up. Now the ball towards centre-half forward for Adelaide. Jamison, he's got it. What a great mark.
didn't get a chance to get second bite of the cherry. Hart
kick by Paxman. Oh, was that a free kick? McQueen charges hard at the ball. Overruns it. Back to McGuinness. That one snaps on Blackburn. He's got it. It's just shocking kick, but it'll come off. Clue. Cleverly. This is Squirt, a very pacey player on the left foot. Towards half-forward. Maynard held his ground. Hand pass on. Scott Hodges an open goal. Bang, puts it through.
Side the attacking. Quickly, oh, what a mark! With some space, he'll try to pop me up and reading it superbly. Clue. And now Jarman through the traffic. Kicks inside the 50. Magnificent kick.
Who actually supplied the Shepherd, the Adelaide. Ingerson, mark! Sean Hart has been prominent. Now Champion across the goals again, and Hodges has got it!
Back in towards full forward. Lowry, bang, runs into Tilkey and must lose.
At the right, and Forster Scott in front to Hart. Jarman right on the wing. Jarman towards centre half forward. Good kick. Fluke stretching, takes the mark. There's a man on down towards the pocket. He ignores that. Bacon goals clear, goes for distance. Will it run on? Break off. It cleared the line. High kick. Jamison from behind. Jamison run. Bit too easy. Wanted to go run. Liptak is on for the handball. Peters in the clear. Liptak 35 metres out and closing, and he kicks the goal.
'Cause here we go, every crowd.
I reckon the Crows had a good second half of the year, and I thought they would have produced that for most of the year, but they left their run a bit late.
Beating Geelong was a highlight, beating St Kilda was a highlight, beating Hawthorn in Melbourne was a highlight.
Much better towards the end than at the beginning.
Pretty good, damn good. I reckon they're really good, and they're going to go pretty good for next year too.
Well, I think they lost when they needed to win, and they won when they didn't need to. Bit of a shame, but I think they played really well in the last two matches.
I thought they did really well this year. I think it was a great end to the season. I think next year will be our season.
Well, it was unfortunate that they couldn't play all their games like their last 6 games, but next year will be their year, I think, next season.
Oh, well, I think that Ben Hart at full-back really proved himself. I think a lot of the players have really come into their own at the end of the season, and we're looking good for next year.
Oh, I thought it was very average for them. I mean, they're not a bad team. I don't mind following the Crows.
We're soccer people. Right, my family does, but not me.
Oh, up and down. Obviously, the last few 6 games are really good. Disappointing against Collingwood, but I think it was pretty good. Yeah.
Unless they have a team which is just Crows, not part Crows and part something else, I don't think they'll ever get very far.
Oh, it was ups and downs, wasn't it? They did very well towards the end, so that leaves a good taste in your mouth. I think overall they have been disappointed not to make the 6, but they did well towards the end.
They could do a lot better.
Why?
Well, they've got very inconsistent players, and like they win and then they lose, and they swap the players around, and they keep changing positions, and who's doing that?
Well, the people of South Australia made sure the Adelaide Crows had more members than any other AFL club, so I guess they're certainly entitled to their own opinion. Also, a man who's had plenty to do with the Crows' performances this year is the coach, Graham Corns.
Football for good sides is not meant to finish in August. You know, you play through September, and that's really what football is all about. This is another competition, and you must always aspire and be very hurt and disappointed and lament the fact that you're not there. But I mean, a break is nice to have, and a lot of the guys have earned and deserved a break, but this is the time of the year where football should be just gearing up, not winding down.
When's training start?
Oh, look, if I had my way, it'd be tonight.
I believe that.
But no, there's got to be a break. The guys need a break physically, they need a break mentally, they need a break from me, they need a break from footy park. But at the same time, we get back into it as soon as we can. Our trip to America will start to gear it up. It won't be intensive training, but it'll certainly be getting the guys together and having a jog. And the serious stuff, I mean, the really serious stuff, will start in probably the last week of October.
What do you class as the finest performance by the team?
There were some good performances, Andrew, but I think if you're looking at a game that it just had the best feeling in terms of exhilaration and satisfaction of having done the job, there was no doubt it was the Hawthorn game at Waverley, where we just got up and won by a point, came from behind, kicked the winning goal with about 90 seconds to go, and then just hung on from there, and that was truly exciting and quite memorable when the siren went.
The Crows in attack. A goal will put them in front. McDermott. This is going to land 45 metres out. Hacked out of there. Crows have it. The hand pass to Hart. And Daryl Hart. Has it cleared the line? Yes!
Well, that makes up for that other error because Brown, he could have given it across to Brown, and Brown was unattended and could have really run it and done something with it. But Hart put it up well. Gee, the players are throwing themselves in here. Here he is. Still played on the half-back flank today and did well down there. Normally a right foot kick onto the left, and it just gets to the line. Daryl Hart, his first.
A point the margin. Adelaide lead. A great performance. They have not given in. Who'll get it out of the centre? Lawrence.
Oh, they're going at it.
Oh, did they go in hard then? Socket off the ground, the half-forward. Taylor went in hard. Hooks it out. Here's Tony Hall. The leader's on. The mark has been taken by Condon. He should kick it now. He can chip it in. Oh, he's going with a long kick. In towards full forward. Dunstall. Hudson. No mark. And it's out of bounds.
Costly mistakes. Tasker giving Condon. He was started behind him on that occasion, and luckily down the other end, Wiedemann slipped over. Hudson was by himself and should have taken that mark on the square.
Forward pocket. A point the difference. Even a point would be handy for Hawthorn. Platten goes to ground. Holds it in. Well, it's in front of the Hawthorn goal. What will happen? We're under the minute. 55 seconds of play left in this match.
What a finish.
Wiedemann signalling to go to the boundary line.
Oh, Lawrence copped it high.
It's going to take a brave umpire to play a free kick here.
Oh, he copped it right across the head.
How much left?
36. 5-4. They're within a kick. A scrambled kick for a goal can win it for Hawthorn. A point and we've got a tie. Wren did well. Condon dragged off it. Not going to get a free kick.
Oh!
McDermott. Well, he went for the boundary line and it only missed being a rush behind by about a metre. A rush behind would have levelled the scores.
Oh, here he goes.
9 seconds left. Down goes Maynard. The umpire's going to ball it up. The Crows have got it. We're out of time. The Crows have won by a point. What a finish as the Adelaide Crows win only their 4th match in Melbourne and their first at Waverley. And they've beaten the Premiers by a point.
Gee, that was a fantastic effort. They were playing catch-up football all day, the Crows. And look at them, and they deserve everything they get, the Crows there. A jubilant side. They really did play well. They backed themselves in. Oh, fantastic effort. You've got to take your hat off to them.
Well, they came into the game with a record of 4 wins and 6 losses, and to beat Hawthorn at the Hawks' new home ground in Melbourne, that could turn their season right around.
A marvellous performance there from the Crows. After the break, the Crows in 92 continues when Max Stevens joins us with Crows skipper Chris McDermott and vice-captain Tony McGuinness.
Welcome back. Just a reminder, at 5 o'clock we'll take you to Subiaco for the Eagles-Hawthorn elimination final. But joining me now in the studios here at Channel 7, Chris McDermott, the captain of the Crows, and vice-captain Tony McGuinness. Gentlemen, thanks for coming along.
No worries.
Hello, Max.
Just quickly, the season, you're not playing in the finals, but Tony first, how have you seen the season? A large improvement?
Well, I guess up until 3 weeks ago, it had probably been a pretty ordinary year. We started off reasonably well, with 3-2 after 5 games, and we're rolling on okay, but a couple of bad losses in Melbourne, and then particularly in the middle of the year we really lost our way. So I feel even though the last 3 games have been wonderful results for us, I'd have to say we're a little disappointed with the year. We were hoping to make the finals.
Well, Chris, compared with last season, what do you think you've learnt, or, you know, towards the end, as Tony said, things just started to really go well. It looked as though you're playing a different type of football than what you did in the previous 18 months.
Yeah, we just seemed to get some confidence late in the season. You know, the development of the younger players throughout the year was just magnificent, and they really gave us a ground to build on. They inspire the older blokes. I mean, just to see the Ben Harts, the Sean Wrens, the Mark Bickleys play the way they do is a real inspiration to us older fellas, and just seemed to bring us all up to another level. And I think by the end of the season, we were just learning that, you know, we could play our style of football against these sides instead of trying to I guess play a different brand of football to compete with them. We realised that our brand of football, which I guess is slightly different, we do handball, you know, a lot. You know, we have more handballs than any other side in the competition, and I guess sometimes we try and reduce the number because we make mistakes. But I think in the end, when we do handball a lot and we are in control of our game, we certainly can compete and beat the good sides, as we did, you know, with the St Kildas and the Geelongs, and then, you know, to perform so well against Collingwood and have every chance of winning. I think we've realised now that our style of game is good enough to beat those sides.
I know you're not going to tell me too much, but at half-time at Victoria Park, were you surprised to be in the situation you were, leading?
I guess it was a surprise in comparison to the year before, when I guess we were 12, you know, 15 down at half-time. We really got belted there last year in somewhat similar circumstances, and you know, to be in front and have control of the game like we did, I guess was a surprise, as it probably was the week before against Geelong. I mean, who would have thought you'd be 10 up at half-time against Geelong? You know, even though it was at Football Park, I guess it was a, you know, surprise for all of us. But, you know, it gives you so much confidence to know that, you know, you can compete and can do that against those sides. That, you know, we went out to with the second half of the game really confident that we could, you know, take the game away from them. And I guess it was really only 5 minutes towards the end of the third quarter, when we were still 3 goals in front. We let them kick 3 goals into time on. That got them back in front, or just in front. And, you know, the last quarter was, you know, I guess we went into bombing the ball. We didn't really, you know, you run the game like we had in the first 3 quarters. We tended to bomb the ball along in the forward lines and hope somebody took the big mark, which I guess, you know, happens once a year.
Tony, looking at players in the club, younger players, because we have to class you two as older blokes. I know you don't like that. But some of the younger players that impress you, we've already spoken about Sean Wren and Ben Hart, Mark Bickley, but who are some of the guys that really impress, that you can see that are going to have a big future?
Well, Ben was outstanding all year, and I guess he'd be the most exciting young player I've seen for a long, long time. To perform the way he has as a 17-year-old is a tremendous effort. But I think it's probably a group of them, and really there's probably 6 to 8 of them who, most of them played last year. The Smarts, the Bickleys, the Wrens, Tasker, those sort of guys that have really developed as the year's gone on at varying stages. And I think it could be fair to say perhaps Nigel was a little disappointing early after having a tremendous year last year, but finished very well. Rennie was quieter early in the year, but came on as the year went on. Bickley was terrific all year, but I think there's all those lads, say, between Weaver and Simon Tregenza, you can put him in there as well. I mean, they'd never played AFL before, and it's an enormous gap for them from coming from the local competition to the AFL. So I think those 6 to 8 to 10, and we call them young lads, but they're not really. They've now, most of them have had 2 years' experience in the AFL, are the ones who are going to be the future of the Adelaide Footy Club.
OK, guys, well, look, thanks for coming in. And Tony, all the best with Rowan Jarman. And in your new business, the hotel industry, we look forward to the opening of your pub.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
OK, Chris, look forward to it. We'll have a beer with the boys. One of the big events still to come for the Adelaide Football Club this year is the club championship dinner in early October. Who'll wear the yellow jacket? Well, who knows?
This year, I think Chris McDermott. I think Chris will win it by a mile.
Probably Chris McDermott.
I know Rod Jamieson or something like that.
Chris McDermott, he's a pretty good leader.
I'd say Ben Hart and Sean Wren.
Probably Tony McGuinness, I think.
Oh, I don't think I'm a good enough judge. No, I would like to comment. I think the captain and the vice captain are very dedicated.
I'd say maybe Chris, Tony or Scott Hodges, one of those. I can tell you who's the cutest, but I won't.
I think it's out of Chris McDermott, Mark Bickley, Tony McGuinness. There's a lot of it. Mark McGuinness must have a chance. He's had a pretty good year.
And you can see who does win the Club Champion Award on the 1st of October, exclusively here on 7. During the middle of the season, the Crows were still looking for a settled lineup. One week they would produce their best, like the win over Hawthorn, then the next week play well below par. But when they moved into the final third of the year, they hit top gear. After a surprise loss to Melbourne, they went on a club record winning streak. They had wins over Fitzroy, Richmond, Brisbane, St Kilda and Geelong, and were desperately unlucky not to beat Collingwood. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of the second half of the season.
Bickley got rid of it in a hurry. Tony Francis caught. Dacos. Still with Dacos. Well, it was just held up by Lee. Well played Jarman to Lee. Will it sit for Jarman? It does. He comes through the corridor and a great kick. Wonderful footy. A bit of strength and experience there. Kurt made a blue off the ground.
Good kick by Turner. Into Dacos. Good kick, Dacos, but couldn't take it. The young player, Ben Hart.
Lends him good support. Down towards half forward, and this time Rod Jamison takes a good mark.
Whoa! Well, Ingleson with the fly comes to the front of the pack. Liptak goes to Lee. Lee round the corner, miraculous goal. Handball comes now to Marshall, number 16. He's found Ingerson. Ingerson will swing onto his left hand. He's found Brown. He should run in and goal, and that he does. The Hart, cleverly from Schwert, left foot for goal. Good kick, it's home.
It's still there for Lee. Off the ground, Scott Lee.
Oh, he's
yes!
done it.
Marshall takes the mark. Into McDermott. Another bomb to the forward line. From behind. Oh, Bickley!
Here's Wren again. Schwert, clever. Jarman can go for goal. Drop puck, sizes it up, and he squeezes it through for second.
Chance for the Crows. The loose ball to Tasker. Tasker to Murphy. An open goal looms and Murphy slams it through.
Then Dunkley. Still Dunkley. Oh, geez, gone without it. Murphy could make him pay with the left foot. I think he has.
Over the back was Micken. Well done. As he taps it onto Saliba. Saliba breaks clear from 45 metres. Fires in it. Garner slams it through for a great goal.
Here's Tasker with a chance. Kicked his first goal for the season a moment ago. There's his second.
Gee, that's a good mark to Tasker. Adam Saliba. A chance now for Adelaide. A hand pass. Comes to McGuinness. McGuinness kicks it low on above your goal.
Kicks it up towards full forward. Oh, terrific mark. That is a great mark by Modra.
Oh, Andy Goodwin comes in.
Oh, beauty.
Centre wing he goes. A big pack under. Oh, the second one of the night.
Daryl Hart. Oh, look at the crumbing. He is just absolutely brilliant at it. Hodges kick up into the goal square. Modra.
Playing well up, obviously playing in the half-forward line, named there. This looks good as they're combining Liptak and McGuinness. Tackled by Liptak, a little slow. Now the open goal, it's hard. Up the centre wing he goes. Oh, what a leap.
His kick goes inside 50 metres. Lindner.
Ace in front of Lee, but well done, Scott Lee. He just got a fist to that. Desperate play. Campbell, oh, well, where did he come from? That was fantastic by Lee.
Lindner appealing for a free kick, races hard at the ball. Here's a chance. Tony McGuinness, an open goal coming up.
Wobbly kick, important ball. Oh, Jarman.
Oh, brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Drop puck passes a gem. Oh.
This is the big fella Wren. Now danger for St Kilda because McGuinness swings onto the left foot from 55 metres. Tony McGuinness stops it through for a goal. This is Tregenza. Will he kick it long? No, he dodges around. Here's Jarman, the long bomb, in towards Hodges. Hodges, was that touch? I don't think it was.
Lindner, left foot round the body goal. He's going to have to kick it very quickly. Handball to Rowe, 4 seconds. Oh, go for it. Will it go through? It will.
Over the back is Ross, big mark.
Jarman, out in front. Hodges! Wren from 50. Wren has goal.
Crowd nothing doing. Wren gets the hand pass up to Tregenza. Jarman goes back to McGuinness.
Thank goodness there was still a little iced coffee in these two.